your inspiration to write Tori by Design?
I lived in New York for a year, and I used to volunteer at a school called the Dalton School, and it was for kids who definitely came from an upper class of people. It was like Gossip Girl, actually based on on Dalton School. So when I was volunteering there, I thought it was really interesting how even though the kids came from a completely different lifestyle than a Winnipeg kid would, they were still kids and they still had the same problems. And I thought it'd be so interesting if a child from Winnipeg had to move to New York and went to that school, and how life would be so different. Because all the things we take for granted, like having space and houses and backyards, they don't have there. So the children definitely had some differences, even how they get to school. They would arrive in limos or taxis, or they'd be walked there by nannies. It was just a really different lifestyle, and I thought it'd be neat to start a book about it, and that's what I did. And also, New York is such a great city, and I wanted to kind of share what the lifestyle is like there with people from Winnipeg who might not go there.
In your words, what is Tori by Design about?
So the actual theme of the book is about determination, because Tori goes to New York, and when she's there, she hears about an internship for a fashion school. So it's about her determination to try to get in, and especially when there's an issue with her family and she has to make a decision about pursuing her dream or supporting her family. She has to make the right decision. So that's really where the crossroads come. But the main theme of it to me is about determination.
Okay. Who is Tori based on?
So Tori is like my dream other self, because she gets to live in New York as a teenager. Yeah. She loves clothes and fashion, and she wants to be a designer, and she's talented. So if I could have had a dream life, that would have been my life. I also had to make her, like, characters have to have flaws. Yeah. So, she's self-centered and selfish, and I think maybe I have some of those qualities, but I also have two stepdaughters who, when I started writing Tori, were teenagers. So I would kind of draw little things from their lives and put them into Tori to make her more well-rounded.
Why New York?
Because I live there. It is a bit of an exotic location, especially to maybe some teenagers who don't get the chance to go. And I just love the city. People always think about it as having the big skyscrapers and rush, so many people. But when you live there, you really learn about your neighborhood, and you get to know the people at your grocery store, at the coffee shop, and it becomes a little mini community. And so that's the other thing that I really wanted people to learn, is it's not just a big, scary city.
Yeah, like it's kind of like some neighborhoods in Winnipeg.
Yeah, it's like
community. It's like the street.
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of the book, without giving the ending away?
My favorite part, so there's a scene in the book where Tori and she arrives home to find her family chasing a cockroach around the apartment. And I wrote that's one of the only things that has been in the book from the original draft, because I wrote 23 drafts of the book. That is the only chapter that is still original and that's completely based on real life experience of having a cockroach, and they're huge, and trying to catch it, and they're so fast. And my husband would always say, "Oh, they're lightning fast," and that's one of the things the dad says. So.
How did you feel when you won your award, and could you explain?
So, Tori was actually released a year ago, and the Writers Guild of Manitoba do an awards ceremony every year, and I got a phone call from somebody at the Writers Guild at about the middle of March, and the woman said, "You've been nominated for the McNally Book Award for Young People for Tori by Design." And I was shocked, because it's my first book, and I learned so much on it, but I also think it's probably not my best work. I have another book that's getting published next year, and I've written a third book, so I've seen how much growth I have. And so when they told me, I was thrilled, but I did not think that I would win at all. Yeah. And then when I got to the ceremony, it's at the Franco-Manitoban Center, and my editor sat right behind me, and so did the marketing coordinator at Great Plains, my publishing company, and my mom and my sisters were there with me. And so I said to Anita, "Oh, there's no way I'm going to win." And she's like, "Oh, you don't know that. Like, as a a good book. It's got a lot of heart. It's well written.
Yeah.
And then I started to think, oh, maybe I can win this. Because she was feeling so confident. And so when they called my name, I was completely shocked and really
didn't know what to say.
I really did not think I would win, so I hadn't prepared anything.
Yeah.
But as I've been getting ready that night, I have 2 little boys who are 7 and 5. And as I was getting ready, James, who's 7, asked me why I was getting dressed up. And I said, oh, because Mommy got nominated for something. And he looked at me and said, what for? You don't do anything. And that is, to me, exactly how kids think. And they don't get that having a book published is a big deal. And then when I won, it also came with prize money. So, and I told James that I'd won $2,500. He said, Mom, we're going to be a rich family. So that was a good reaction.
Or you're writing like the story of like Tori, it kind of like inspires young kids to follow their dreams and like do what they.
That would be wonderful if because that's really the basis of the story. And I also think that, I never thought I would get a book published, win an award, and then get a second book published. So, it's just kind of amazing to me that if you work hard at something, because I wrote pretty much every day for 5 years to get Tori published, and you can. Yeah. So, definitely, I hope that it is inspiring. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So, are you thinking of writing books, like, throughout your life?
Yes. So my second one is called The Fall, and it comes out next year. My third one is called 250 Hours, and my publisher has it right now, and I haven't heard back yet. I started writing a fourth one, and I have an idea for a fifth one. So I feel like there's always another idea.
There's always something that comes out of writing.
I'm lucky now because I'm not working full-time, so I think it would be a challenge to work full-time, have kids, and write. Yeah. So it's definitely a time in my life where I have the luxury of writing. I don't know if I'll always have that, but I do love it.
Yeah, and your sons are really, really little.
They're not babies.
No. So it's easier to have
definitely, there's more time now, and when they go to bed, I can sit down.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming and doing the interview.
Welcome, Claire. My pleasure.